Hey, we're
say
live.
that. Yeah,
As soon as I say that, because I'm old. Just
Yeah,
so
dude.
you know.
I couldn't tell, dude.
Other
Yeah,
than
fifth.
other than, for some reason somehow Snooky became dad. Oh,
What?
I know, because he was being all daddy in the
What?
Discord.
Huh?
So he's old.
54, by the way.
54 sessions is what we had on the last campaign.
Yep.
Wow.
But right now we're on 36. Last week during 35, the party had made their way into the Savalier Wood in hopes to find a means of paying back a debt owned by Yotev in by fixing a problem that the Mardoon family is having with some of their business associates, we'll call them. As a part of this process, they stumbled across an individual by the name of Lucas Bailey, who led them to the Hollower, a witch living within the first sort of section of the Savalier Wood. And after a conversation, some deals were made, and some deals weren't as straightforward as the party would prefer. As a result, the party decided to combat Azrahari, well, all while learning that Azrahari is sisters with a entity known as Jeff, and also is related to an individual from Cassandra's past. Upon defeating Azrahari, the party scoured the place, found a bunch of trinkets and magical items that I don't know if they have been divvied out, but that conversation could happen as well. And then beyond that, after feeling pretty confident in the fact that everything has been discovered and found here, a fire was lit and the house burned as they walked away from the flames. We pick up probably 5 minutes after that, as you all have left the clearing, given the sort of area a wide berth, and have found yourselves sort of sitting around in a small section of the Savalier Wood to talk and discuss what the next steps are.
Cassandra, why don't you get that tent set up and we'll just make camp here? This seems okay.
Okay.
With the pull of a drawstring, the box that the tent stays in uncollapses into this massive sort of 15 by 15 space. You're all able to enter into the tent.
I'm assuming that Cassandra probably doesn't want the Azrahari body to come into the tent. Can I put it into my bag of holding? I don't know how big. How much weight is an Azrahari doll?
The body itself?
No, I just need a weight of like is it of one? Basically 1 pound or less for a doll.
Oh, each one would be like probably 2.5, 3 pounds.
Can I do 2.5? I can't, so I'll do 3. Okay, cool. So we have like a ridiculous amount of
120 pounds of dolls.
Yeah. How many pounds do you think that woman was, like her body without a head?
Without the heads weigh about 10 pounds, is that right?
8 to
So
10, yeah.
Without the head, she's probably sitting at about 160, 165.
She was a healthy girl.
Okay. Mm-hmm. 165. How much do you think her head weighed?
10 pounds.
8 to 10 pounds.
10 pounds. Okay. She thought a lot of her about herself. Okay, I have enough that I think I can shove it in. So I'm gonna put it into the bag of holding. Always. So I'm gonna shove the head in, and I'm gonna like, I'm coming back for you. But Cassandra's not gonna let you in, looking like this. So you're gonna have to go clean yourself up and hang out with your fucking dolls. And I'll shove her body in first, just kind of like just kicking it in, just aggressively. I'm so tiny, it takes so long. It's like the amount of times that you think that it would take a foot to shove something forward, triple it. Because that's how tiny I am. And then just kind of like whip the head in too after it. And then now I'll go into the tent. Yep.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit down on one of the couches or whatever in the main area.
Aiden, you wanna go over that list of stuff that we've gotten out of there? Or you wanna just divide it up on who you think it best suits?
Sure, I can pull out the items. I think if no one objects, I'll keep this bow and
I assume we're gonna keep the bow.
this necklace with the phoenix feather.
Yeah.
I think Killian already has the dream catcher and Kenji already has the bone seeds.
Yep.
So we've got this armor, if anybody needs it. We've got this token that can summon a tree. Got a finger bone, and we've got a lily. And all of these items were described previously. And
Yeah. I think the finger is pretty cool. I don't know if anybody else wants it though.
We got a silver greatsword as well.
I can't use that. I don't think.
No, I know. I'm saying party loot to sell. How much actual gold did we get? You want to divvy that up there, Mr. Aiden?
yeah, so we got 60 gold pieces, which is 10 each.
Oh, 10 each. Okay.
And then there's some stuff we can sell.
Like those bracers of archery.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things. Like, I don't know if anyone actually needs the studded leather.
Oh, the Faerot.
Yeah, and then the half plate and the great sword will probably get sold as well at some point.
That's what
But
I was
if nobody else wanted it, I think it's fine if you take the finger, Kenji.
Okay.
Equipment. Oh, there's also a figurine of the raven. So
you did mention the Faerot studded leather.
yeah.
Did anybody do detect magic on that or identify or anything?
Yes, it lets them cast compulsion, and I believe it gives them advantage against being charmed.
Okay.
Does
But the only ones who use, I think I'm the only one who uses studded leather.
does Cassandra plan on identifying that tomb?
Probably, but I don't know if she'll make it super public. But I guess we can say that she's ritually identifying that right now.
It is not magic.
Oh.
Okay. Does identify tell her anything about it?
Is it trapped?
No.
Okay.
Oh.
Did she? I guess while she's reading it and realizing it's not magic, she'd probably just try to read through it. Is there language or anything she can read in it?
There is. So specifically, this is all written in Sylvan, but I'm pretty sure she knows how to speak Sylvan.
I believe so.
I would hope. If not, there's a minor problem. Yeah, she does. Opening it up, it is what appears to be a less of like a. It's not like a spell book. It's not like a magic tome. It is a. I'll take it back a little bit. There's like some magic to it, but it's not a. It itself is not a magical item. But rather the words are magically inscribed. There seems to be a minor enchantment on it, and the only thing that you would get from an identify spell is that these are contracts. Flipping through, there are descriptions of individuals that have come to this cabin who have made deals, and it talks about what that deal is, and should some event happen, how to reverse the effects of that deal. So going through, you see like a random person. This person came to ask for the means of winning over the heart of his of someone that he admired, and words were twisted. Instead of making the person fall in love with him, it is instead that person is obsessed with him, and in the sort of fey twisting of obsession, it went from like love in terms of endearment to like stalkerish obsession, and she ended up killing him. As you go through as well, though, there are certain pages that are blank. They'll be like full page, blank, full page, blank, full page, full page. So there's a couple that seem to just have been skipped for one reason or another. But that seems to be what the contents of this book is.
Okay. And then divvying up the items, that leaves the figurine of the Silver Raven. Anybody can use it to essentially send a message. The Raven will come to life and travel for up to 12 hours to deliver a message. If
I think we say that for a group message.
Okay, so that's just a group. It's able to return to us as well if it can get there and back within 12 hours. Does anybody want to hold on to that, or should we just keep it in the bag?
Does it need attunement?
Nope.
I don't think so.
I would recommend we just leave it in the bag, and whenever we need to communicate with somebody long distance, we just pull it out.
Okay. Same thing with the feather token. Anybody can use it to summon a tree. Could help provide cover, give a vantage point, be chopped down to make a makeshift bridge, but I think that's the same kind of thing. Anyone would be able to use it when we need. So that leaves the lily, which somebody has to be carrying, and if there were something that were to affect them, they can use it to overcome that.
Who's terrible at saving throws?
I'm pretty bad. No, I'm just kidding.
I feel like everyone's okay with them. Varnax has the aura, so he's probably the strongest at saving throws. You've got Indomitable, right? Doesn't that help with it?
I do not have that.
Okay, never mind. I think that Killian is the person that would be scariest if something were to happen to affect your mind.
I was going to say the big things that, like, I'm good on strength, dex, and con, but anything int, whiz, or charisma, I'm not good at.
I'm fine with anyone who wants it, but I think Killian or maybe Yotov might benefit the most from it.
Oh, Yotep might too. He's got a bunch of plus ones.
We can also,
Honestly, sorry, go ahead.
if we decide later on, we can always just give it to somebody else. As long as it hasn't been used yet.
I would honestly give it to Yotep instead of me.
I'm good with that.
Cool.
I think that's everything then.
I wouldn't be able to add it to a sheet, but just, I guess write it down on numbers on it.
I would like to ask if you can roll an investigation check for Kasan as she's going through that book still.
17 on the die. Her investigation is +3, dirty 20.
She finds, she's flipping through. She does put the book down and points to 2 pages in particular. She sees pretty early, not early, but like about halfway through the book, she points to a page that at the top has the name Lucas Bailey. And then as she flips over a few pages, there is a second page that says Azure.
Azure
makes
being
sense.
the
The tiefling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was the tiefling puppet one of the tiefling or one of the puppets that survived?
Do you want to reach in and see if you find it?
I believe
I'll
it
pass,
was.
He was the one. Just make sure I understand. Me personally. He was part of one of the parties from the very beginning at
Jen,
At the Darrington Brigade.
Darrington Brigade. God,
Yeah.
dang.
We talked about this
old.
last session, and you made us roll to check, and he was there. He is
Yes.
in the thing now.
He was the
Do you want
only
him?
one that we recognize.
I was just
Yeah.
curious if that was one that survived.
Yeah, he was, but we didn't see the other members of the party.
Yeah. How's the head and body doing if I look inside the bag?
About as well as you would imagine a slowly rotting corpse.
She's still there though. She's not taken away.
No, she's still there.
All right. Well, her head's turned out a little bit off to the side, so I'm gonna straighten it up so she can see right outside the bag. And I said, I've got my eyes on you, and I'm gonna slowly close the bag on her.
Okay.
I mean, ask Kenji if they're good, but like that's useless.
What?
Are you good?
I'm better. I'm better than I was. I really thought that she wanted her size. It's really upsetting. But there's not much you can do about that. So now we have her. I just rolled her into a blank space, and now nobody can find her.
Did you say that you could save the puppets or something?
Possibly. They were all alive. I could hear them in my head. And I cast to detect their thoughts when I reached out. They either told me to run or they told me to kill her, and then they could be saved. So
Are
that's
the
why they're all
thoughts
with me
still
right now.
there? Can you still hear their thoughts?
I'd have to rest. It's a very powerful spell. It's like top level magic. I can only do it once a day. It's almost on the borderline. I've heard some people can kind of wish things into existence. I feel like that's the kind of level that this is at.
Don't you talk to us in our heads like all the time though?
No, but to hear other people's thoughts, like what they're thinking. Such a powerful spell to be able to delve into someone's mind and figure out what they're thinking, even if they don't want you to think it.
I don't know magic, so sure.
I could try it on you sometime.
I'm okay.
Okay. Do you want to carry a doll?
No.
Oh.
I guess thank you for offering.
I mean, everybody needs a friend. I mean, I've got mine right here. Well, except for
I've
my two friends.
Got all of you.
That is true. But now we have 40 more of us. We're so powerful now. I think if we face Jeff now, we could really fuck her up.
So, where are we going?
Yeah, we
The house is
were-
appropriately burned down as we were discussing this. Or did anything happen? Nothing? Alright. Well, nothing to worry about in that house. It's fucking gone. So, yeah, now we go back and collect our reward because we have some of these dolls. We could just give it to them.
I don't think this is what they wanted from us.
I mean, if only we had a way to figure out how they became dolls so that we could just stop that. If there was like a contract or something that we could like look for, and maybe there's like a way to reverse it, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be crazy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat. But like, I didn't find anything in there, so all I'm doing is carrying 40 fucking dolls around with me, and I'm not 100% whether or not they need to breathe. So every 10 minutes, I'm just opening it up just to give them some air. So I mean, this is where we're at. Do you realize how interesting my life has become, Aiden? Because if you don't, that's where we're at right now.
Sounds pretty interesting.
Yeah. Do you want to carry a doll? Do you need a friend?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. Well, more for me then, I guess.
While Kenji is making these remarks, Cassandra will be reading the contracts for Lucas Bailey and Azur to try to figure out what might have happened.
Would she like to share with the class?
She'd probably read it to herself first and then share it, but
That's fair. After reading it over herself, she will share that Lucas Bailey, his contract was that he had been traveling with a group of individuals, which included his wife, his brother, and a few friends through the Savalier Wood. While traveling through, he was attacked by a beast from within the wood itself and had made a deal with Azrahari in order to allow him the opportunity and power to defeat the beast. And additionally, he had asked to restore the souls of his brother, wife, and friends. The offering that he was given, he had taken quite some time to talk about a payment and had spent many hours sort of going over this deal. And what it landed on was that he was required to use these same powers to bring individuals to Azrahari in order to, as she put it, and as it is written in the book, replace the souls that I have given to you threefold.
But he's done that much, much more than threefold, correct?
You look at the contract
it's
itself. It
3
looks
lives?
like it looks like there are 5 people that he brought back. It was his wife, his brother, and 3 friends. And so he needed to bring 15 people.
And there's
And then
40
his contract
dolls.
would be... Yes. Not all of them were him.
Oh, okay, cool.
But of those, he needed to bring 15 people, and once the 15 were complete, he would be free to go. Flipping over to Azure. Azure's is a little similar, in a roundabout way. He and his party were traveling through the Savalier Wood when they were attacked by a beast. According to this, the deal was not made by Azure, it was made by his friends. The reason it was not made by Azure is because he had lost a lot of blood. He was not dead, but he was close to death. And reading into it a little bit more, the beast that he was felled by, that had felled him over the course of this battle, was one of a pack of lycanthropes.
Ooh.
As they brought him to Azrahari, the deal that was struck was that she would help save his life and prevent him from becoming a lycanthrope. In return, they would hand over things to her. They had handed over objects to her, and she had saved his life. But in saving his life, she turned him into a doll to prevent him from turning into a lycanthrope. He's technically alive, and he'll never become a werewolf while he's in that state. But he now belongs to her. It does specify a means. There are some that have specifications on how to reverse. For example, Bailey's has that in order to reverse, in order to gain the power, he had to undergo a Crimson Rite. In order to reverse the curse, he would need to be bathed in a pool of blood, and a Dispel curse would need to be cast on him while he was submerged, and that would replace the tainted blood in his body with the blood of the tub, and it would allow him to come back out no longer a blood hunter.
Oh.
The fix for Azure is they require the blood of the lycanthrope that had cursed him, and for a portion of Wolfsbane, and for both of those to be ground up, placed onto the doll, and remove curse be cast on it.
And so he could come back without becoming a lycanthrope that way, or he's just coming back?
That's correct. He would come back without being a lycanthrope.
Oh. Well, I mean, we might as well get going. We can't figure out how to save these people, so
Do we
all
think?
we have is it all.
I mean, Lucas was bringing people to Azrahari. Do we think that he's the beast that bit Azur?
I didn't say it was a part of the pack. Because my question would be, does he have a pack? If that was the case.
So, like, those powers that Bailey got were to be used to bring people in. His power is becoming a lycanthrope, which I imagine is how he bested his beast. Possible.
Is anyone able to remove curses?
Let me see. Let me see. I don't know if I can or not. I might be able to if I ready it. Is it? Can I switch spells like that on long rests?
So you can, however, remove curse is a 3rd level spell, which you get access to at level 9.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just hang on someone's soul tonight.
Is
Clerics, paladins, warlocks, and wizards have access to remove curse.
there enough blood, like, on the armor that he was wearing to, like, put it in a vial or something? Because we left his body in the house and burned it.
You could collect some. It's not. It doesn't specify in the ritual to remove this how much blood is required, so you may be able to swing it with what you've got.
I will go ahead and try to collect some of that off the armor.
Easily done.
So, what's next? We still need to find. What
Well,
were we doing? We were looking for a group to get items or something.
No, we got to go. Have to go find their missing supplies and the group that was supposed to retrieve it. Which I'm assuming that the group that was supposed to retrieve it is dead. Am I correct in that? If my memory serves me correct.
I don't think.
It is hard to say with certainty. You know that the group. The only thing you really know about that group is that they are a band that has worked for the Mardoons for a while, and had built up enough of a reputation to be granted this sort of more high stakes job, and somehow failed. They were, as a quick refresher of what they were doing, they were able to get to the palace in Malaismere, make their way inside, and steal from the vaults within the palace. And somewhere along that track, they had failed.
Should we continue our journey that way?
oh, I suggest we take a rest here first and then continue in the morning.
Agree.
What's the time of day right now?
It's a little bit early in the the evening, but it's well within reason to like stop here, eat, and then
Stick
rest.
around.
It's probably like, yeah,
Do
you're
some
probably
arm
like,
wrestling.
yeah. You look at it like 4:35, so it's you're losing a little bit of daylight, but considering that some of you guys are pretty tapped, it makes sense to, tap out for the day. Is that what you guys want to do?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I'm good with that.
All right. You all already inside the tent. You're able to get your meals in, have a large dinner to sort of help recoup a bit. and eventually you find yourselves off to your individual rooms. Is there anything anyone wants to do this night before taking that long rest?
I'll go ahead and just, my nightly routine of going into my little temple that's in my room and doing my devotionals and hit the hay.
I'll let everybody else go first.
I will prepare the dream catcher to see if I can reach out to this entity that I saw, this person that I saw.
Okay.
I don't think I have anything. I'm reading Cassandra's stuff to see if she does.
Should do a reading for today.
I don't want to do a reading without her here.
Yeah, that would be chaos.
What's the worst that could happen?
She could die.
Oh, well. True. Could become a doll.
Go back.
All right.
Kenji is going to take out the Azrahari's head,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like to make it like a nightlight. So I want to hollow out some of her head
Mm-hmm.
and potentially, I don't know the anatomy of a head, but I'm going to figure it out pretty quickly. And basically just hollow out kind of most of the important stuff, and I'm hoping that her eyes will like glow, and where it looks will shine down light. And then when I'm done figuring that out, if you want me to roll for it, I can. But then when I'm done, I'm going to set it down, and I'm going to lean her size up against her.
How are we planning on doing this?
Is there like a spoon available, or?
I mean, yeah, you can take a melon baller to the inside of her skull. I'm just like, are we casting light? Are we putting a candle in there, like a jack-o'-lantern?
Like a candle, yeah. But I don't want like a lot of heat. Like I don't want it to burn up. Not right away, at least.
Sure. Yeah. So you take some time. You get out all the squishy bits. And effectively, what it turns into is the skull, skin, hair, all intact, but the you take a ladle to the brain and get all that out.
I would like to keep her brain in a jar.
Okay, intact.
Hopefully.
That's gonna require a check.
Okay.
Because it's a lot easier if you just break it up and get it out of there. Keeping it intact is gonna be a little more challenging.
Yeah. My body's
My
ready, dude.
What do I make this?
Could I, maybe acrobatics? You gotta be nimble, dude, with your hands. You gotta be dexterous, trying to.
That's a sleight of hand check, not an acrobatics check.
That's still dexterous, isn't it? What about a stealth check? You gotta be careful.
I'd say either a sleight of hand or a medicine.
I will do whichever one you would like. I don't have advantage on either one. Or, like, I don't have, like, you know what I mean? I'm not biased towards either one. Whatever you would like.
I'd lean, for this specifically, I'd lean probably more towards medicine.
Okay. It's not the worst. That's a 10 plus 8 for 18.
18.
Mm-hmm.
It's... So, with an 18, here's what I'll say. You're gonna be capable of performing this. However, it's a big ask.
Okay.
So it's gonna be time consuming. If you're willing to put in the hours for it, you can get it done.
Could I, if I went right down the middle of like the brain, and and separate it into 2 separate hemispheres, could I do that and put that in a jar?
So
Is
that
that going to be easier?
it's just bisected?
Yeah.
I mean, it would take less time for sure.
Because I don't know if I need them all together. You know what? I could take a long rest, but then also take exhaustion. I can put in the hours. I'll put in the hours.
Okay.
Yes, let's do it.
It takes a few hours of carefully. You effectively have to, and apologies if this is gross for folks. You basically have to break part of the skull to create an opening large enough for it to its way out.
Yeah.
And then you just sort of you find a nice jar.
Yep.
Fill it up with some sort of, I don't know, pickling brine or something.
Yep. That's
And-
gonna keep it. I like that.
Yeah. Just sort of squish it on in there. If you'd like to add a brain in a jar to your inventory,
I've been labeling everything as Rahari
Okay, Azrahari brain jar.
brain. Yes.
Then go for it.
It's in a jar. Add item to equipment. Excellent. Now, does anyone in the party have mending?
Almost certainly, but I'm concerned.
Does she have it, Aiden?
Nope,
Don't lie to me, Aiden.
he doesn't.
She does not.
No one else does?
I think Yotev does, but I'm not certain.
Yotev does not.
Oh, you were saying you most certainly they do not?
He does. He doesn't. No.
Is
He
there
has
a timer-
dancing lights and firebolt?
Oh. Is there a time requirement on... Oh, but he can choose cantrips with his tool.
Yeah, if he's got the tool
He does have it equipped.
tuned. Go to inventory.
There's no-
all-purpose tool.
There's no, like, time limit on mending something, right?
No.
Okay, so then I will just let Yotev know whenever there is a free day, I would love if he could help me mend something. If he
Mhm.
had that ability. And I will jot that down to ask him another day. Unless he wants to do it in the morning.
For sure.
Excellent. So now I have a nice little nightlight. Empress Eyes is putting his hand over top of the Azrahari's head, which has its brain removed, and has its eyeballs still intact, shining light out through them. Excellent. I've accomplished a very successful day. I'm happy. I will lay down. I will turn and face her. And I will tell her before I go to sleep, I told you that we would get you. Now all I have left to do is find my friend. And I will fall asleep.
As you all lay down to go to bed, Killian, you place the dream catcher above your bed, hanging it from the ceiling, and you lay down. And this is where things get a little bit more complicated. Because you don't really sleep. In fact, specifically, like you have resistances to sleep. So as you lay there under it, you stare up at this slowly spinning dream catcher. And as it does, make a wisdom saving throw for me, please.
Oh no!
13.
You stare up at it, and as the feathers are sort of dangling down above you, you feel your mind begin to slip. almost into dream, but instead into memory. As you see yourself walking along a dirt road surrounded by broken, cursed earth. And as you travel, you feel this semblance of familiarity. Almost, there's a strange feeling of almost like when you go home to your hometown after college. And it's like everything you remember here, you remember this place, you drove these streets, you walked this area. But everything seems just slightly different. As you wander, you see yourself surrounded by people. Sort of look down at yourself, and your skin has more coloration to it. Green and warm. There's scars along your arms from battle, combat. But you are you. You recognize this to be yourself. As you look around you, there are the faces of those that you're traveling with. You see a half drow with red scales crawling up his neck that wanders a few feet behind you. You see a handsome looking man. Looks like he has a instrument on his back. Something familiar about his look, his appearance. That seems to be sort of humming to himself as he wanders behind you.
But my horse looked like that guy.
Your horse doesn't look like that guy, but as you make that connection, there is an interesting connection there that you aren't sure what it is, but there's something to that. And in front of you are two individuals, a elven woman, long sort of blue hair, flowing robes, looks to be some sort of naturalist. And walking beside her is that man that you saw when you got the dream catcher in the first place, the one that you're trying to reach out to. Sort of bags under the eyes, looking perpetually a little bit tired. Combed back, dark brown hair, leather armor. Strangely, what looks to be a prosthetic hand dangling from his hip.
Incredible.
Despite the fact that he has both of his hands fully, obviously, in front of him. You just get this sense of that group as you all make your way down the road. As you pull yourself back from this dream, you open your eyes and you expect to see that dangling dream catcher again, but instead you find yourself somewhere else. You find yourself in an alleyway. As you look around, it's dark out. It's nighttime. You look down the streets and you see there's a cart, and some of these same people are around you, though they're all focusing on that cart and they seem to be following it. As you follow behind them, as that's what you think you're supposed to be doing right now, you make your way across the street, trying to stay hidden, stay unseen by this cart, and sort of dodging through back alley streets and following as people. There's another person here, a short, fuzzy person with like these long ears, and as he's like hopping along the rooftops, you see there's a point where he's about to miss one of the rooftops, and a pair of spectral hands come out and grab the roof and propel him up and onto it, and they disappear as he gets up, and he continues to hop along. And again, you try to wake up, and as you open your eyes again, you expect to see that dream catcher, but instead you are met with the face of this strange, older-looking drow, bright red eyes, slit-like pupils, and a massive sword. He plunges it into your chest, and you feel like this sucking as you're trying to take in air, but instead your lungs begin to fill with blood. As he pulls it out, he seems invigorated at your death, the eyes growing more and more wild as he turns and he slashes down somebody else. And it's at that point where you do pull away and you do wake up to that dream catcher above you. You check it really quickly, and the strings are still attached, the magic not spent. When you tried to reach out to this person, this individual, didn't seem to connect. If you'd like to. Ooh, what do I ask for this? You're not the most arcanely inclined. So instead, I'll ask for an insight check to see if you can understand the nature of the spell and why this might have failed.
You can cancel. That's an 18 or 13. 1 second. That is a 13 plus 5, so 18 anyway.
18. You get this sort of two senses. The first being that you don't sleep. It's just really hard to tell if your inert state would have worked. You imagine it could. Maybe. You don't know spells well enough. You'd have to ask someone more arcanely gifted. The other thing that you sort of glean is that there's some weird memory that you have. And because of the nature of this, I'm going to ask for you to roll knowledge from a past life. You will be getting this back as a part of your long rest, but I want to see if you can hit a certain DC.
Roll a 6.
Okay, that hits the DC. Yep. As this knowledge from your past life hits you, the thing that you seem to remember is exactly that. It is something that you knew from a previous iteration of yourself. And it is that those people that you walked with, those people that you traveled with, the one with the prosthetic hand, the one that this dream catcher seems to remind you of, they had this wall about them, this psychic barrier about them that protected them from mental intrusion, but it also cut them free from the realm of dream. You sort of sit up and stare at this for a moment and come to the realization, this recognition that there is a chance that this dream spell may not affect them ever.
That sucks. I'll go ahead and safely put away the Dreamcatcher. Quietly contemplating on what the next step might be to find this person.
As you put it away, the sort of sit in the rest of this room, now carrying the memories of a number of people, one of which you've seen before today, and one of which you just remembered today. And the rest that seemed to follow, it's almost like the breaking of a dam, the slightest leak, and now all of a sudden the entire floodgate is like more and more pressure has built up and more water seems to be pushing its way through. More of this memory of whatever this time was, whoever these people are or were to you, seem to be quickly coming back at a faster, accelerated rate.
I think as I'm kind of overloading on this, I'm going to revert back to just practicing martial arts. So, punching. I imagine. I'm pretty sure I asked her for like some kind of like training or something. So just a space to practice swinging my maul. Just to make sure I don't lose that balance that I have with it, and unarmed strikes as well. Just trying to keep my body going faster than my thoughts so it doesn't go crazy.
You go over to the middle of your room. You jump down and your feet hit the sand at the bottom of this sort of ring that you have built out for you. As you walk out into the middle, sensing your presence, these objects fall from the ceiling and pop up from the ground. Wooden boards with generic, sometimes goofily drawn monsters on them, or logs that come down from the ceiling, and as you swing, there is a crash as the maul slams into this sort of manticore-esque drawing and shatters it into pieces. As you swing back around, a wyvern loses its head. As you bring it up and come down, this log that has dropped down gets severed in two. As you go to swing back one more time, make a second wisdom saving throw.
It was a natural 2 for 7.
Oof. As you go to swing around, there's this small little kobold pop-up that has like a backpack full of like a bag of bees and like a skunk on a stick, or a scorpion on a stick, and all these like inventions of it. And as you go to swing around, there's this brief moment where the picture changes, and it's not a kobold anymore. It is this sort of young, maybe 17-year-old kid. Green skin, just the barest bits of teeth pushing out from the lower gums. He looks to be sort of dressed in smithing clothing, and you get just this brief flash of him holding hands with Kenji before the hammer, unable to stop the momentum, smashes through him. blood pours from a nostril. You take 9 points of psychic damage. You sort of put your hand up and touch, see the blood, and look up. Manifest your echo.
Do I feel the pain or just like the blood?
You feel the pain. There's like it's almost like if you have like a migraine, it's like one of those spikes that happen every so often, where it just flashes a little bit worse for a minute and it slowly recedes. And